Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
We go from Kyle Lowry to his head coach, Nick Nurse.
All good, Coach?
Yes.
All right, let's start off with a question from Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
Man, Rowe was killing it.
It's Seward, I see you guys all the time. It confuses me.
Yeah, congratulations on the win. First, I want to ask you about the national anthem. It seemed very powerful when we watched and seeing the woman kneel on the CN Tower. Did it feel that way in the arena as well?
Sure did, Doug. Man, it was awesome. Caught me by surprise. I think probably everybody probably has the same thing, and you were trying to figure out. Wait a minute, is that the CN Tower? And then it was, yeah, you saw what it was, and unbelievable rendition. I thought the camera and the shots of Toronto and all that stuff were I don't know, a little took your breath away a little bit. So it was pretty cool.
As to the game, you had that first half, you guys were wonderful defensively and offensively. Was that kind of what you needed to see from your guys right out of the gate? I think it's sustained, but that's hard to sustain that level.
Yeah, Doug, I'm certainly really happy with how we came out. I think the physicality, the defense, the offense, everything was rolling, right? And you're right, it's an NBA game and a team that's been playing extremely well. They're going to make their run a little bit. I was certainly happy to see us kind of answer back once we kind of regrouped and got back to Garden. We kind of were able to open it up and put the game away. So, it's not necessarily style points don't count for much at this time of year, right? We're just really happy to get one done and know that they present us some problems. They showed us the problems they can present us. So we're just happy to get one done, and we'll try to get the next one when we can,
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Doug.
We go next to Mike Ganter from the Toronto Sun.
And then congrats on the win.
Thanks, Mike.
I wanted to ask you, Doug kind of touched on this, when the defense did start to slip a bit. I mean, your offense was coming from completely different sources than you probably expected. Was that as much what was going on there as your own maybe slippage?
I don't know, Mike. I think they're pretty much gonna, obviously they've got Levert, handling up there, controlling a lot of the offense, and they're running some stuff for Harris, flying off screens. But the rest of them, it's very similar. The spacing, the driving, and kicking. It's gonna kind of end up where it ends up sometimes. And I think TLC had a heck of a game, right? And he was really good. And they did a good job there for a stretch. They were really driving, and they were really passing, and they were hitting the shots. They were playing really fast. They got some transition buckets. So, I knew they were capable. They've been scoring like crazy down here in the bubble. So it didn't totally surprise me that they got going for a stretch.
And how important was Terrence in that little stretch there, getting you kind of going again?
Well, it was good. He showed some life. There's a few guys that, obviously weren't with us a year ago, and we got to kind of find out what their playoff, we got to take their playoff temperature a little bit here and there. And I think he was great. He had a good attitude. Thought he showed some life, and then even at the end he showed some life. So good little stretch for him.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, Mike.
Next, we got Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Michael.
Couple questions. One, you guys got to the line, I think, 33 times. Do you see that as a kind of a point of differentiation between the two teams? I mean, you play a sort of similar style, but the fact that you can maybe slow the game down, get to the rim, get to the line, is that something you're focusing on at all?
Well, we always try to, Michael. We always want to get to the free throw line, and we always want to try to attack, hard to the basket. So I think we did that tonight. Especially early. I thought there was just one hard drive after another, which kind of got the ball rolling for most guys to start driving and stuff. I think there was a few post-ups. There was a few offensive rebounds as well. So, yeah, we will focus on it. I mean, don't want to change too much of what we're doing to focus on it, but we want to get to the rim.
Thanks. And you know, it's crazy to nitpick. I mean, you scored 134 points, but you know, that stretch in the third, I think you had maybe 22, and you know, the ball seeming to stick a little off. Was there something that you look at that 12-minute stretch and go,
Yeah.
That's what we look like we're not going to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just what you said. It was just a little, you know, it was a little slow up the court. It was, I think, only 2 transition points that whole quarter, Michael. It just wasn't, you know, the pace and energy that we were playing with most of the game. Obviously, we put, you know, I think close to 35 up the other quarters, didn't we? Somewhere, give or take a few points. So the other 3 quarters were great. There was the pace and the energy we wanted. In the third, it was a little bogged down, and I think that's the reason.
Great. I appreciate that, Nick. Thank you.
You're welcome, Michael.
I'm going to do 3 more questions. First one is from John Schumann from NBA.com.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hi, John. I'm good.
You guys hit 22 threes tonight. I think Fred hit or assisted on 15 of the 22. What did you see with the looks you were getting from 3? Whether you saw that, you know, happening before the game?
Well, I think, you know, Freddie hit them on some unders, John, a little bit. We set some ball screens, and they were going under. And Freddie's pretty good at stopping either on the other, or right behind those, and shooting, or on the other side before it can go. And as far as the other ones, his assisted ones, you know, he just made the right plays. You know, either throw aheads in transition or playing the screen and roll. He get into the paint and find the kick out. So, you know, he was obviously stating the obvious here. He was awesome tonight, that's for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
We go next to Josh Lewenberg from TSN.
Hey Nick, Doc Vaughn was telling us before the game that one of the things he learned from Pop in San Antonio is how to keep a clear, fresh mind going into playoff games. I know you're even keeled by nature, a lot of your players are as well, but with the experience of the last few years, is that one of the things that you've seen from your guys is going into games, playoff games, a little bit less tight, maybe a little bit looser than they used to be?
I wouldn't say they're less, you know, I wouldn't say they're looser, Josh. I think there was a very serious group going out on the floor today. The locker room was pretty quiet. You know, they were focused, and I think their play showed that. So now you got to handle, you know, this is where it starts. You got to handle your successes, and you got to be able to bounce back from your failures, right? You got to learn a lot, even though you won the game, because it's a long series. That maybe is where our composure and things comes in, even on non-game days, Josh, if that makes any sense.
Yep, thanks Nick.
Yep.
So we're going to do 2 more questions here. First one goes to Eric Kareem from The Athletic.
Hey Nick, congrats on the win.
Thanks, sir.
First possession of the fourth quarter, you guys just had the third quarter you had, and Kyle just with a super aggressive drive right at Tyler Johnson. Could have been an and one, was, you know, 2 free throws. How comfortable or how used to just him making the right plays are you at this stage for the time and score and sort of tone of the game?
Well, he certainly does it a lot, and that was a big one, Eric. I mean, I think he set the tone for the fourth quarter there with that play. You know, he obviously had the ball, so we talked about what to run out of the timeout, and you know, he made a great read on the screen and roll, and just, you know, did his thing, barreled into the basket. You're right; it should have been an and one. It would have been a really nice and one to have, but it did set the tone. And yeah, he makes a lot of really good plays, man, both ends, Eric.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
And last question is going to go to Bruce Arthur from the Toronto Star.
Pascal seemed really happy with the shots he got today, and he talked about how his energy is much better than it was at the start of this process in the bubble. But he doesn't feel like he's just finishing at the rate. Like, what are you seeing of that offensive game, and is he getting closer to the guy that you had before the bubble started?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bruce is he's absorbing a lot of contact right now. I think he should be shooting a few more free throws. The way he's getting by people and putting his body on them, and they're putting their body on him, and they're hitting him a lot. But he's going to have to evidently play through more contact because he is absorbing some physicality, I think. You know, he's got shots all over the place, Bruce. He really does. He's got the three ball whenever he wants it, you know. They seem, most teams seem pretty content to go under him and give him that stuff, you know, probably rightly so because, they think the cushion with the drive and all that stuff. But he's getting to some spots. He's going to score some baskets in the series. He's going to have to pass the ball some too. He's going to have to make the right plays when he draws multiple defenders. I think playing through the physicality is the main thing, though.
Just a quick follow-up. How much did you see his energy kind of rise from the beginning to now?
I think he looks good, Bruce. I think that I think he's energetic and he's ready to go. I don't really know if I'm comparing it to the first part. I think just motivation in general is a little hard from the scrimmages and stuff. But I think he looks bouncy and ready, and he's playing defense, so we're happy. You're welcome.
Thank you, Coach, for your time this evening.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. See you in a couple days.
Nick Nurse and the Raptors, they knocked down a franchise high 22 three-pointers. Joe Harris had 3 three-pointers, 19. Now we hear from him right now.
Difficulty at the start of the game. It seemed like they were really paying a lot of attention both to you and to Karras, and you guys had trouble getting into gear until they had a big lead. What were they doing defensively, and what can you take away from today?
They were definitely just the more aggressive team, both offensively and defensively to start. And, it all coincides, it all takes together. They ended up jumping out on us. The momentum shifted a little bit. It ended up getting, up by 30 at one point. So we definitely dug ourselves a hole there where they were just definitely the more aggressive team on both ends of the ball.
Christian?
Hey, Joe. A lot's been made of the Raptor defense. Obviously, it ranks number 1 in the Orlando bubble and number 2 for the course of the entire year. I'm just curious, did you guys ever settle into it, and is that what led to some of the strategy making the third quarter?
Their defense is phenomenal, when they're in a set position and they're able to kind of go against you in the half court. And we know that, and really to start the second half was just trying to play with more pace. And a lot of that is what we do defensively. So if we're able to get stops, get rebounds, get out in transition, then we can go against them in more of sort of an attack mode where we don't have to go against them in a set defense or half-court setting.
Tom?
Particularly early on, Karras is averaging almost 10 assists the last couple games. He had 6 in the first quarter alone. Did it feel to you guys like you really wanted to make him a passer rather than a scorer? And is that something that was kind of planned on?
Yeah, we anticipated them just being really aggressive in all of Karras' actions. Loading up whenever he got downhill, hedging a lot of the ball screens, and guys are going to have to make plays. That's how it's probably going to be for a majority of the series. Karras is our best offensive player, and teams are just going to try and get the ball out of his hands. So the rest of us are going to be able to make plays, but then we also got to try and get him out in transition, get those stops, and allow him to kind of get out in open space and be able to attack downhill.
Alex?
Joe, when you guys went on that run at the end of the first half, it seems like the ball movement picked up and looked a lot like what it was in some of the seeding games. Do you attribute that to the pace you touched on, or was that something else that got that part going?
I think you can attribute that to the defense. Again, they all go hand in hand. When you're able to get stops, get out in transition, kick the ball ahead. It seemed like everybody was kind of getting a touch, and then even when we're in the half-court setting, the ball just kind of moved a lot better than it did in the first half, where we might have been settling for that first open jumper instead of trying to kind of work it around, make the defense work.
Christian?
Got one more for you. Obviously, a really good game from Tim today. Is this the same Tim that you played with earlier this season, or can you pinpoint a moment in this year where things kind of started shifting for him?
Yeah, Tim is a great player. I think now he just has more of an opportunity to play, show what he can do, and this is what happens. This is the nature of the NBA. There's tons of guys that, given the opportunity, the right circumstance, right situation, they're able to come in, contribute in big ways, and show what they can do.
Julio?
Hi, Joe. This is your second time with the Nets going to the playoffs. Did you feel like being in the playoffs tonight? I know there's no fans, but the intensity in the court, do you really feel like being in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an adjustment for everybody being down here, even from the get-go. But at the end of the day, the level of basketball, the play, I wouldn't say that it's drastically different from what we were just used to, but everybody's locked in. We're focused. This is all we have to do down here is prepare to play against the Raptors right now. So everybody's locked in. We watch a considerable amount of film. We don't have a ton of distractions, a lot of other stuff going on. So I think the level of play is elevated just solely on the fact that matter.
Well said. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, 30 points, double-digit assists, 8 threes. What did O'Shea once say? Today was a good day. We hear from the man of the hour, Fred VanVleet.